Hey there, creepy peeps. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome back. If you are returning, let's talk about this latest Nicolas Cage movie. So as you would have seen by the title, we're going to be talking about Color Out of Space. I know that's not exactly a brand new release, but until we start getting new horror releases again, I'm just going to be catching up on some of the indie stuff I missed over the past couple of months. Hopefully that's okay. But anyways, like I said, let's talk about Color Out of Space. After a meteorite lands in the front yard of their farm, Nathan Gardner and his family find themselves battling a mutant extraterrestrial organism that infects their minds and bodies, transforming their quiet rural life into a Technicolor nightmare. So let's get this out of the way right now because I can see the comments already. I have very little Lovecraftian knowledge, both in terms of his written works and adaptations that have been made from his works. Up until this movie, Reanimator and From Beyond were the only Lovecraft adaptations I've seen. So cool, moving on. The first thing we have to talk about is, of course, the color in this movie, the way that it looks. So out of the now 3 Lovecraftian adaptations I've seen, I noticed that color plays a huge part in those movies. With Reanimator, literally the first thing I think about when I think about that movie is that glowing neon green color. And From Beyond, I immediately think of the color magenta. And of course, as the title suggests, Color Out of Space is literally all about the color that this extraterrestrial organism gives off. First described as pink in the movie, and then it's later described as a color that no one has ever seen before, but the film, I assume just for convenience sake, just shows it as pink because obviously the filmmakers can't depict a color that no human has seen. So the pink literally starts infesting everything in the movie. Having something like a color being a visual representation of this makes the movie interesting to watch, and it's a very simple visual representation of this organism infecting everything because you can physically see it. And of course you can see the progression of the movie. So you notice at the beginning of the movie, everything's like normal colored, and then more and more pink starts to work its way into the movie until the climax of the movie where literally everything is pink. We also have to talk about Nick Cage, who stars in this movie. I feel like sometimes his performances kind of take away from the rest of the story going on, and I kind of feel like that's what happened here. I delved into some online reviews after I watched the movie, and I noticed a lot of people were talking about how funny the movie was. And obviously anybody can take whatever away from a film, like that's your own personal interpretation of the movie. But just personally for me, I didn't think the comedy fit all that well. There were a couple of funny moments with the alpacas. There was a lot of alpaca humor. That was okay, but I feel like every scene that Nick Cage was in, a lot of the severity of the situation was downplayed a little bit because he was acting crazy, as Nick Cage be doing sometimes. He had some rage cage moments that I feel like at this point have become such a meme that it's unintentionally humorous even when the situation in the movie isn't funny. And the one situation that I have in mind when he's in the car, personally, I don't think is meant to be funny, but I couldn't help but laugh because it's rage cage, you know what I mean? I thought the situation itself, the story, was super scary, and it was interesting to see how the organism affected the different members of the family differently. Like the mother and the youngest son being fused together, that whole thing was horrendous and scary even before it became a bloodthirsty monster. And Tommy Chong's character Ezra, when they find him towards the end of the film and he's all kind of like mummified looking, but then you hear his voice like droning over that audio equipment. Ugh. Ultimately though, if we're just talking about the Gardners, the family, I gave 0 fucks about any of them. The movie establishes their home and their lifestyle at the beginning, and I got tons of like, look how quirky our family is vibes. It was all super shallow, and once shit started hitting the fan, all I really cared about was like how cool the movie looked, but in terms of like what was happening to the characters, I couldn't bring myself to care. So overall, because of that, I have to give this movie a 2 because cinematography can only get you so far, at least with me. Don't take my word for it though, because on IMDb it has a 6.2 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes it has an 86% critic score and an 82% audience score. And on Letterboxd it has an average score of 3.3 out of 5. From those of you guys that I follow on Letterboxd, it's mostly 3s, 3.5s, and 4s. So clearly this movie was not for me, and that's fine. So if you've seen Color Out of Space already, which I'm sure many of you have already, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it. I'd also like to thank my creepy patron peeps for their support of my channel. Thank you guys so much. If you want to find out the perks to being a creepy patron peep yourself, you can follow that link in the description. If you're new here, if you've been lurking, subscribe, become a creepy peep today. I post videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for listening to me talk. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Until then though, stay strange. Bye.